Round 1. JDun versus the obstacles of life. Fight!
Time right. It's almost time, baby. You ready?
I'm so ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Now, make sure y'all hitting the thumbs up. Make sure y'all comment and let us know where y'all tuning in from. The show Get 'em to the Metaverse is about to start. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Come on, make some noise. Put some fire emojis in the comment section. It's about to be insane. It's about to be insane. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Yeah, yeah. It's called Get 'em to the Metaverse. You gotta get 'em to the Metaverse. That's Joy. That's Joy over there. It's me. It's me right here. It's called Get 'em to the Metaverse. You gotta get 'em to the Metaverse. Let's go. Oh, hold up. Hey, let me get my vibe in. Y'all know how we do the show. But first of all, how you feeling, JoyReign?
I am feeling amazing, but welcome everyone to Get 'em to the Metaverse. We are so happy and so excited to have you all tuning in today for another amazing episode. And we have a phenomenal guest, and we cannot wait to get into it. But first, how are you doing, JDun?
Well, I'm feeling real good, yeah. I'm feeling real good, yeah. Because we got some stuff to talk about, and I'm so excited to talk about it. Yeah, look, man. I told y'all, this is Get 'em to the Metaverse. This is one of the most littiest podcasts about the Metaverse across the globe. I'm your boy, JDun, and I'm with the gorgeous and amazing JoyReign. You know what our mission is. Our mission is to help to make the extraordinary metaverse an ordinary part of life. And you know, Joy, it's been a great week. It's been a great week. It's been a lot of stuff going on. So this is what I need to know. The people need to know. What has JoyReign been up to this week? What you been up to?
Well, first, we've been working really hard as we do every single week. But we've been learning how to separate that and really know when to shut down. So we've been enjoying nature. We've been enjoying unplugging. So it's been amazing just learning and really doing that right now.
Listen. You know, people don't understand. Even when they say that the thing is, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. If you work what you love, then you never realize you're working, right? Okay, that's the part. But the reality is, we be working, y'all. Okay, we be working our butts off. We got this show to do. We got content to drop, and we got stuff to talk about. In fact,
Absolutely.
I think it's time. Do you think it's time?
I know it's time.
You know it's time? Okay.
Yes.
Well, then it's time for us to get into this week's breaking news. Look, I love the music. I love the music. All right. So, this week on Breaking News with Get 'em to the Metaverse, we want to first talk about one thing that's breaking our hearts. Okay, it's breaking our hearts. The Quest Pro. It's possible, it's rumored that the Quest Pro that we bought at $1,500, two of them, is possibly at end of life. It's possibly that Meta is being reported that they have cut production or buying materials for this specific model of the Quest, and that they will no longer be buying parts for this particular model. Now, some analysts are saying that, hey, they didn't sell that many and they have a whole bunch in stock, so therefore they don't really need to build anymore. And it's believed that the stock can go all the way up until the end of next year or something like that. But Joy, it kind of broke my heart when I began to read an article around this, basically stating that this device that we fell in love with, that we bought day one Connect last year, we were like, we're buying this $1,500 device. We were at the store at Best Buy day one and posted it happily on our timelines and all kind of stuff. And this device that just came out not even a year ago is possibly already on an end-of-life journey. What do you have to say about that, Joy?
Well, I mean, I feel as though it's had a great run. I mean, we still use it every single day. You know, it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday, but, you know.
Now, come on, Joy. Not quoting the lyrics on me. Not quoting the lyrics.
It's like, you know, we have ours, so, but no. But seriously, I really feel like, you know, it is a sad thing that they're not going to be in production of it anymore.
Yeah.
But there's always good things to look forward to, as you know, the Quest 3 coming out.
Yes,
and
it
so,
is.
Really want to see how different it's going to be from the Quest 3, from the Pro and everything. But it's sad that it's not.
We were burnt, man. Can we talk about it just for a second? We were burnt. The depth sensor was supposed to be in the Quest Pro. It was supposed to be in the Quest Pro. And they took it out at the very last second. I mean, a few weeks prior to. In fact, I got a chance to beta test the Quest Pro. Can't tell you the timeline before and where around, but got to test a prefab device, and it had the depth sensor in it, and it was incredible. So it was a little upsetting to know that the depth sensor went in, and now we know the Quest 3 is going to have better cameras. It's going to have that depth sensor. It's going to, 3D map your room, which I think is going to involve a lot of great mixed reality things coming later. So I'm really, really excited about that. And so we're going to see how this thing plays out with the Quest Pro going forward. But as we move into the next part of this conversation, Vision Pro ain't waiting on nobody. We know that Apple is coming next year, and Unity just announced their new beta program, their closed beta program that you guys have to get into, you have to sign up for, where you can begin to develop in Unity for the spatial computing platform we call the Vision Pro. Now, Joy, I know that you've dabbled a lot creatively, because you are amazing at creativity. You've dabbled a lot in Swift UI with Apple. You've also dabbled with Unity. Tell me a little bit about what you think about. Would you be using these tools at all? Is this something you're thinking about?
Absolutely. It's like, why not? Why not use the Unity capability, going into it and seeing what you can create? You could be so creative and make so much amazing things. And then for them to open this up right now, for them to have a catalog of things available before it's released, that's incredible. So looking forward to it.
I think they learned a lot from Meta, years and years, because really and truly the Quest Pro was definitely the dev kit for the Quest 3. Let's just be
Absolutely
very honest. It was basically the dev kit. It was a device that kind of had mixed reality, that kind of began to do color pass through to allow developers to begin to tinker with and mess with mixed reality. And we love that a lot over there. Especially our special guest today for sure loves mixed reality, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. But I just want to see, man. I haven't seen outside now. We still buying. We still very much still buying the Vision Pros, y'all. All right, even if we gotta fly to California and go to the Apple Store to get it, we're gonna get the Vision Pros. But I just haven't seen a developer. We saw the Disney demo. That was a demo. It wasn't real. We haven't seen a developer yet with the tools that they already have really create something that we could be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for day one to get this app. But I'm certain it's Apple. They're going to make it happen for sure.
Absolutely.
So as we move on in the story, Metaverse is a term that a lot of people don't like to get behind anymore. And there was an article that came out on the information about Vishal, who's the VP of the Metaverse for Meta. And it's basically him saying, hey, the Metaverse is dead for a lot of people. Great. Now that gives us time to go and build it. And what he meant by that is that the Metaverse term had this hyper bubble around it, and everyone and their mama started creating metaverses and talking about metaverses, putting it in their information.
It's what AI is right now.
It's what AI is right now. You say AI, you got a startup waiting to happen. All right, like you can make it happen if you use AI. Okay, we got a new Getting Things Done AI coming out real soon. Invest with your super chats right now. But no, like honestly, the crazy thing is that his response was, I'm glad that the hype is dead. So now we don't have to live up to a certain expectation. We don't have to sit here and be under someone's scrutiny the entire time. We can actually go build the tools to make that. For Meta, that's Horizon Worlds. For others, that's Spatial, that's VR Chat, that's Rec Room, that's Roblox, that's coming soon. So Joy, I have this want to ask you this question back. Do you think, because we were asked, our podcast, we started last year, get them to the metaverse. We were told, stop calling your podcast, get them to the metaverse. Call it, get them to XR, get them to VR. So, aren't you glad? What you think about this?
I mean, first of all, we are not changing our name. Second of all, I mean, to each his own, but what we're trying to do is tackle, things of the metaverse. So we're not going to change it. And that's the thing. You have to be steadfast in your decisions.
Come on, say
you
that.
Can't sway with the tide because it'll be here today, gone today. It's not going tomorrow anymore. So, I mean, as long as you have your purpose of what you're doing, then hey.
I mean, just that fast, the done AI is at 2.0. You guys can invest in it just that fast. We talking about 5 minutes. It's already evolved to 2.0, guys. You can get in on 2.0, getting things done AI right now in the chat. But we're excited about the metaverse. We're sold on it. We know our guest, he's sold on it. We know a lot of people at Meta, they're sold on it. So I'm excited to see where the metaverse goes. I'm not, we're not going to give up on it. In fact, it's something that's supposed to be coming for the next 5-10 years, not something that happens today. So we're building those tools today. And last but not least, we didn't even have this originally on our schedule to talk about, but that is V56 for the Quest platform dropped today. And it had some really cool features. One, for instance, for us content creators is live streaming to Facebook. So now from the Quest platform, like the Quest 2, Quest Pro, you can futuristically Quest 3, you can now Facebook live stream from your Quest device. There's also hand tracking 2.2 that's better for fast movements, and I actually got a chance to test that right before the show, and I was very surprised. I was punching like Bruce Lee. Okay, I was punching like Bruce Lee, and it caught all of it. It normally cannot. So I'm really excited to see all the features that they talked about, because there's a whole bunch. Joy, is there any feature that stood out to you specifically?
The automatic updating of the apps.
Oh,
you remember we talked about that last week
yes.
when I was saying that I hold up our VR date nights because my apps weren't updated?
Yes.
Well, they implemented that before it shuts off, it automatically updates your apps. So I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited about that.
Man, look, this is what I mean when I say that it's just exciting to see what's happening in the platform to this point, because it's so much that Meta is doing in these last couple of months. Remember, the Quest 2 at this point is almost 3 years old. So the point that it's still getting that, and they even put a hint that hand tracking just got even better just now, but it's going to get even better in September when the Quest 3 comes out. So I'm really excited about that, and it just drives us home. So V56 rolling out right now, guys, for what's coming very soon for the Quest platform. So we got one more segment to get through, and that is our apps of the week. Now, Joy, I want to understand your app of the week, okay? Because we talk about this app all the time. Your app of the week is what?
My app of the week is Horizon Worlds. The reason being is because we're in season 3 of Joy in the Morning, and we're halfway through the season. This is episode 5. We usually have 10 episodes this season, and so coming up is episode 5, and it has been incredible. So that has been, my app of the week.
I gotta say, this has to be the best season of Joy in the Morning, and I'm not saying that because I'm, partial, because I am, but this has been the best season of Joy in the Morning ever since beginning. It's just the guests you've been having, the topics that's been going on. The topic last week was incredible.
It was overcoming childhood trauma.
Yes.
Yeah, it was incredible. We laughed, we cried, we learned so much, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
So yeah, we got a good friend of the podcast and a good friend anyway, Hardy West, going to be
Shout
on.
Out to Hardy West.
I'm about to say get on to the metaverse. Hardy West is going to be on Joy in the Morning this Sunday. And what's the topic about for this Sunday?
The struggle of being first. When you're that innovative person and people don't understand exactly what direction you're going in, it may look foolish to some, but then by and by, like they say, they understand why you did everything that you did. So we're going to be discussing that.
Yeah,
it's for those innovators.
It's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. Now, my app of the week this week, ladies and gentlemen, is I was in a nostalgia kind of thing. I was like, man, I need me a platformer. I need me a Mario. I need me an old school platformer game, but I want the VR part of it. We don't have enough 2D VR platformer Mario type games. And so I went to searching, and come to find out, this is one of the first games that actually launched with the Oculus way back in the day. It's called Lucky's Tales, and it came out on the Quest 2 platform recently with updated graphics, and it's called Lucky Tales. So let me explain. It's basically a Sonic or Mario game in VR with the most amazing, cutest graphics you could ever see. You're jumping around, you control this little character, and it's really cool. And it wasn't expensive. I want to say it was like $9 or $15, something like that. It's really, really good. You got to play it. Joy, I could have told you about it. I didn't tell you about it.
You did.
I didn't tell you about it. And she gonna get on me later. When she said we gonna get into it, she gonna get on me later. She gonna be like, you know what, you should have told me about Lucky's Tales, but it's
so cute.
It's a really good game, and it does scratch the itch of Mario. I'm telling any developer that's watching who will watch this later, because we know we have developers who watch this show, please, please, please take some time to build out some Mario-esque type games. That's what we need. We need a killer apps. Nintendo has Mario, Sonic was for Sega, PlayStation has so many different IPs. We need something like that for the Quest platforms and the VR platforms as a whole.
Awesome.
Yes, well look, let's check in with the audience, because the audience today has been popping in. We have a few people. First of all, we got El Michelle in the building saying, what's good, family?
Hey there,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, El Michelle, for tuning in. We had Leroy coming in as well. What's up, fam?
Hey,
we see you. He said, for collectors, innovators, I think the fact that it was a limited drop could later mean money. For sure. We gonna have them Quest Pros on deck, bro. For sure. Q Creator said, great energy, great energy. IT Trace with the fire emojis. And of course, I saw Mr. Dunda in the building saying, yo, we appreciate you, fam. And then, of course, we have Dicetopia Days, I believe. AI with an adaptive interaction and environment. Make any kind of app that doesn't do everything redundant. Yes, 100%. And then finally, I saw Mr. Hardy West in the building. All right. Now, y'all. Now, I didn't want to put the other who's been in the chat dropping it because they're the guests today, and I didn't want to spoil. I don't want to mention them until we do this incredible intro. And you know, because we're taking everything to the next level, we'll get into the Metaverse. We want to do our intro this time a little bit different. So we're gonna let the intro talk for itself. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest today is none other than Don Allen III, who is a visionary XR and AI futurist, also known as the Bob Ross of the Metaverse. He's a digital creator skilled in AR, 3D, and CGI. He's also a speaker and advisor for XR, AI, and futurism, and was previously at DreamWorks. Personally, we connected with Don in 2022, and from day one of interacting and connecting with him, we realized what a genuine and authentic gift he is to our XR space. You can find him dropping constant knowledge on his socials, inspiring and motivating the tech industry at one of his many speaking engagements, or jamming out on his piano, having fun and being artistic on one of his midday piano live streams. No matter what Don is up to, he does it with a real spirit of excellence. So now, without further ado, please put your virtual hands together for our incredible guest, Don Allen III. Yo!
Wow. That was so kind. Thank you.
Yo! We got
what a
Don
crazy
Allen.
intro.
And you got the cat on your head. Look at that. You got the cat on your
Oh
head.
yeah, got the cat. Of course.
Well, welcome to Get 'em to the Metaverse. We're so excited to have you today. And you know, we do it right. So what's about to happen is what I think is the best part of the entire show, where we get to hear the guests and get to hear the lovely JoyReign with her amazing, incredible questions. So Joy, are you ready to get into it?
I am super excited to get into it. Let's go.
Do it.
All right. So, how did you first get introduced to AI, augmented reality, 3D, and CGI?
Amazing. I love this question. So I first got into CG before I got into AI. And how that happened was in 2015, I went to this like film festival for a student film festival, and I got into it. And it was like my senior year of college. And then they had a bunch of films playing there. And I started noticing this thing when I was at the festival. People were talking about the films that had like at least one really cool CGI moment, you know, computer generated images and graphics. And at that time, I knew no 3D at all. And I came back from that festival thinking, wow, I gotta learn how to do this 3D stuff, because I think that's what's going to be the talk in the future. So this was in 2015. And so starting 2016, I was like, all right, I'm going to learn 3D. I gave myself about a year. And my goal was to try to make a piece of artwork that would be similar to one of my favorite artists. His name's Mike Winkleman. He goes by Beeple. And I was going to try to make a piece of artwork that looked like he created it. And that was my goal. If I could make a piece of artwork that someone would think that Beeple made within a year, then I would be like, I know 3D now. And so that's how I got into 3D. And then from there, started learning. I started with that program, Cinema 4D. Started, practicing with it every single day. Each day, just trying to learn, just try to make it a little bit better than the last thing. And just did this every day for about a year. And then eventually got to a point where I felt, it was about a year after, and someone said, "Did Beeple make this?" And I was like, "Oh, it happened."
Yes.
Okay, I know 3D now. And then that's when I started turning into a business. So yeah, that's how I got into 3D. AI kind of started about a year ago. It happened with DALL-E 2. So I got on early access. There's a company called OpenAI. They made ChatGPT. They made DALL-E 2. And my friend Karen got me early access to it. And I started playing with the tool. And then I was realizing like, oh wow, like this thing can speed up the iterations that I would go through when I create stuff at a speed I've never imagined before. And so I started to get very serious about the AI journey right then and there. So I've been in the AI
Love
space
it.
for about a year and a half now, and it's been very fun.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Mm.
First of all, the point that you were able to within that year be able to make that happen. Like your point was, I want to have something that makes someone go, this looks like this great artist work. And you
Mhm.
exceeded to that. And it's like, okay, well now I'm ready to do my business. You didn't say I'm gonna start my business tomorrow. I'm just gonna jump in and start my 3D business. I'm good. I'm amazing. Look at me. I love the confidence. But you decided I needed to hit a mark first. And once I hit that
Absolutely.
mark, now I know I'm ready to take on the next journey. Man, that's just incredible, man. Absolutely incredible.
Love
Thank you so
that.
much, JDun.
All
Thank you, Joy.
right.
I love the question.
Yeah. So we're going to take it a step back. Some
Okay.
people watching and listening may not have known about your brain surgery at the age of 18. Tell us about that time and how it has affected you thereafter.
Yeah, so I know I got like an invisible disability. You can't really see it when you look at me visually, but I got chronic nerve pain on the whole left half of my body, but it's mostly focused around my arm. My left arm does not feel like an arm, it feels like an attachment to me, and that attachment comes with pain. So I had brain surgery, specifically a neurosurgery on my spinal cord when I was 18, and what they did, why I needed it was I had a birth defect in my spinal cord. So the metaphor the doctor gave me was a healthy spine normally has like two little tubes of spinal fluid that flow between your brain and then the rest of your body. And they're even. In a healthy spine, they're even all the way through. So for my spine, my right half is like an even, nice spinal fluid column. So easy communication between the brain and the body. Great. But my left spinal cord, it tapers. It tapers almost to a point right behind the back of my skull.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so that tapering happens over about 18 years. And so it was getting tighter and tighter and tighter around my spinal cord. And so I've lost a lot of sensation on the left half of my body. I don't feel temperature. I don't know texture very well. Things are a little off. And it also came with nerve pain. So the surgery I had was to take pressure off that spinal cord so that it wouldn't tighten anymore. So my pain hasn't gotten worse since I was 18, but it also hasn't gone away. So I kind of
Gotcha.
I do live with that every day, and I've turned it into a superpower. So
Love that.
I can't control the pain, I really can't. But what I can control is my perception of the pain.
Yes.
That's something I do have control of. I have a lot of control over my perception of the pain. And so in my perception, I notice that my nerve pain goes up when I'm not sleeping right, when I'm stressing myself out, and when I'm eating like garbage. So
Mm.
I literally can make an agreement with myself that if I want more pain, just stop taking care of myself and I'll get more pain tomorrow.
Wow.
So for me, the nerve pain in my arm is kind of like a health bar in a video game where you look at the
Come
status and
on.
you're like, huh, how's my arm feeling today? If it's feeling like if it's feeling really bad, then I know I'm not taking the best care of myself. And if
Yeah.
it's feeling
Yeah.
great, well, just for my grade's a 5 out of 10. So the max pain I've ever felt is a 10, the least if you have no pain you're at a 0. My left half of my body is always at a 5.
Wow.
That's a good day to me. Is I'm at a 5. And when
Wow.
I don't take care of myself, that 5 goes up to a 6, starts to go up to a 7. When it becomes an 8 or a 9, I usually have to go back to the hospital and they have to knock
Wow.
me out because I can't focus at that level of pain.
Yeah.
And I've gotten there 3 times, and all 3 of them were related to overworking. So when I start
Mm.
overworking, I can't manage my pain. So I'm very grateful that I have this nerve damage in my arm because it's a physical limit to stressing myself out. It's a physical limit to how much I can go without sleep, and it's a
Yeah.
physical limit to what my diet can be. So I'm very grateful for my nerve pain, despite it being very present all the time.
I,
Oh my
I,
gosh.
Oh,
I am floored. Number one, because you see the amazing works that you do and that you operate in, the gift that you operate in all times. But then to know this and then to not let it stop you, didn't to even say,
Yes, for you to press through all the pain to make these extraordinary works is incredible.
yes, I'm
Wow,
reminded
thank you.
about anxiety, that when I had an anxiety attack years ago, at first it was like a curse. It was like, what is this? I couldn't be around my family. Joy, I could only be around Joy. That was the only person I could be around. I couldn't be around any other family. I was completely shut off. My body was, everything was off. But slowly, like you, begin to see it as a superpower. It's a warning system to let me know when I'm going too far, when I'm not eating right. It immediately, I could tell, like Joy will tell you, I could drink something like, shouldn't have drunk that. That's gonna mess with my anxiety tonight, like immediately. So it's just, it allows you to really know. I just love how you took that. We gotta give them more. Y'all in the chat, please. I see great perspective. I see Dunder put in here great perspective, absolutely great perspective.
Yes.
And we got the praying hands up as
Wow,
well.
thank
Like
you.
it really is one of those things that's just incredible. But thank you, Joy. Your questions are hitting just amazing stuff today. So let's continue.
Yes. So, what was it like transitioning from DreamWorks to what you're doing currently?
Yeah, so it's actually very similar. So my role at DreamWorks when I was there for 3 years was to be a specialist trainer. I would
Okay.
train our specialists how to use our software so that they can focus on their art. So like if you're an animator or a rigging artist or a lighter or someone who does our texturing or someone who does the grooming and does like hair simulations, I've trained all those different departments at DreamWorks. And so my role was a specialist trainer. And so the main thing that's been different is now instead of being a specialist trainer for a private company with
Hmm.
just the employees of the studio, I'm now doing specialist training for anyone that follows me on Instagram and on social channels. I'm kind of doing
Wow.
the same thing. The same stuff I would do at DreamWorks,
Yeah.
I'm now doing it with tools that are available at home. DreamWorks has all proprietary software, so a lot of the
Mhm.
stuff doesn't exist outside that studio, and that's why they need trainers to like that specialize in it so that they can teach other artists. But
Mhm.
then now that I'm outside the studio, I try to train stuff that's available. So there's lots of software that's available right now that you can download from home on your phones, laptops, tablets, etc. And I want to be that person who teaches you how to make some really cool stuff using the tools that you have. So it's kind of the
Right.
same role. One's just private company versus
Hmm.
one's for the rest of the world.
Love
Wow.
that.
Wow. We one of the things that we kind of met you right before we saw this. It was just a magical moment. We were talking with you prior to the Connect last year, and then me, Joy, and I think Hardy was in the chat. We was all in this Connect at Horizon Worlds. We was all in this room. We were watching the Connect, and then all of a sudden we see, wait a minute, that's Don up there, and it was incredible because you were using the Quest Pro and you were doing some cool stuff with in augmented reality and mixed reality. They had your avatar there, and it was just really cool. Number one, not only to see someone that we knew showing what the technology could be, but then just proving that it's an every person use device. It wasn't just for professionals; it was for
Yeah.
everybody. Now, of course, we know your track record is incredible, but for a lot of people, just seeing you up there was like, okay, wow, if he's able to do it, so can I. And as you can see with the videos that's playing right now, just the your sizzle reel is just incredible. As you look, he got the Quest Pro right there. The sizzle reel is just incredible of the work you've done, and we just thank you, man. Thank you for the live streams that you be doing that shows how to do AI or how to even draw on a tablet. Like today, you was doing something with the tablet and actually drawing and building out 3D. So just incredible stuff, man.
Happy to help always. Yeah, I mean, I love this stuff immensely, and there's just some powerful tools. And yeah, if you have complicated questions, I like that even more because like then I can focus on the specializing stuff and help you make the tool useful and fun.
100%.
Love it. Love it. So, we saw your Are We There Yet with Kiki Palmer. So, tell us more about your dream to make a planet sized education system that's free and accessible to all.
Man, Joy went back in that thing. She in there. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Okay, you got it. So that's still been my dream. And I think the dream is actually coming to life a lot faster than I expected because of AI. So
Love
the
it.
idea, the dream came for me actually around the same time that I started getting into 3D, which is around 2015. And it was when I finished reading the book, Ready Player One. The part I loved the most about that book was the school system. So like, despite all the circumstances that were not so great going on in the world in that fictional sci-fi book, everyone had access to a best-in-class education that was free and accessible to everybody. And I loved that it leveraged technology to help make customized learning. So what I've decided to like kind of evolve from that since 2015, looking at new tools and tech, I've thought, how cool would it be if you started leveraging AI to help assist with some of that learning? So I
Yeah.
dreamed of a day where you'd have a tool that you can chat with that could help expand the learning to a custom lens. So,
Mhm.
if you're in a physical classroom, there's always going to be some students that are bored because it's too slow, and then there's going to be other
Mhm.
students that are stressed because it's too fast. There's not really a cadence that's perfect for a whole group because a lot of us are unique individuals with very different learning styles and preferences. So my dream is that you could leverage AI to help kind of balance this out a little bit. So
Yeah.
maybe if a student is feeling behind, they can have an AI assistant help with their education and then kind
Yeah.
of bring them along. And the same thing, if the student's going too fast, they need more material, they need more complex examples, you could leverage AI to do that. So all of a sudden OpenAI came out and ChatGPT came out, and all these
Yeah.
different companies are now leveraging large language models on their back end, and now they're plugging that into different tools. One of them I thought was the most inspiring example of this is a company called Khan Academy, and they
Mm.
literally have a new product called Khan Migo, Khan Migo, Khan Migo, and it is a tutor AI that can further the learning of any student that chats with it. And the AI knows not to share all the answers right away with the student. It knows to
Yeah.
kind of keep some information separate so that it actually helps the learner discover the answer on their own. And it can relate different examples that are based off
Wow.
interests of the learner. So maybe if
Mm.
you told it what you were interested in, it can actually give you relevant examples that are based off of your own interests in trying to learn and discover a new topic. And I saw that and I'm like, oh my goodness,
Wow.
if I work with AI companies right now, I can make my dream come true of
Mm-hmm.
having a global, worldwide education system that's accessible and highly affordable, if not free for everybody.
I
Wow.
love that.
Listen now, y'all. Okay. You know what? Not even that. I need the horns. I needed the horns for that one because education is, and I saw Hardy West put it in the chat. Education, crazy. Listen, this is one of those things where AI has, and I believe you said it last year, Don, on one of your lives. You was like, AI is going to be huge. Like ChatGPT, for what it was, is already on level 4. It's already like excelling in such a space. By the way, Chat, the Done AI is now at 3.0 right now. If you go catch that joke from earlier if you knew. But no, seriously, AI is changing everything. My mom uses ChatGPT. Like it's really crazy. And now using that term, because I want to say your Kiki Palmer episode had to be about a year ago, right after Connect.
Mhm.
So you're talking about not even a year later, and these things are already beginning to take fruition. And that was like a learned long term a goal. You even mentioned
Yeah.
like your ancestral job and desire, to make that happen.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I didn't expect it only takes a year with an exponential increase in technology. It's only going to take a year before that technology is available. I mean, there's just so many different use cases for this, and I've even
Mhm.
experimented with some like this one. Like, what if you got to be a character during an education class? Like, let's say a different persona, and this was relevant to whatever type of material you're trying to teach. I just think how fun would it be if you learned about animation from a character from a DreamWorks movie? Like, how fun would
Love
that
Yes.
be?
it.
In this way? Like what's Donkey's personality on and off screen, and could he
Shrek.
deliver information for you that might be relevant? Like, how about you learn about animals from an animal?
That
Right.
that
That is so
is
cool.
that is crazy. It is funny. The animation is just so spot on, man. All I hear is Shrek. I'm a donkey, Shrek. No, IT Trey said that would be amazing. I struggled in school and had to be put in a content master because I just couldn't keep up in class. And that's something I really think, man. XR, VR, AI is the answer to a
Absolutely.
lot of the ADD issues. Like, I was classified ADHD and all these things like that. And it's like, no, it just was, I was bored. The way I was being taught just was not stimulating me. And so you have these technologies now that could teach you new languages. We learn all kind of cool stuff through these devices, and AI is going to change
Absolutely.
everything. And look, he just going through it. Yeah, he flexing on this now at this point. He's flexing on this now. We got Meta News in the chat with the fire emojis. El Michelle
Hey there,
saying,
Meta News.
love it, love it, love it. But yes, it's just incredible. Now, El Michelle said the name again. I believe she was trying to get the Khan AI one. What was the name of that
Oh
again?
yeah, it's called Khanmigo. It's by Khan Academy. KhanMigo should be the Khanmigo education guide. Yeah, I found it. So it's khanacademy.org. And then it's
Gotcha.
a world-class AI for education. Say hello to Khanmigo, Khan Academy's AI-powered guide, tutor for learners, an assistant for teachers. So it works for
I
students
love that.
and it works for teachers. Teachers are already so overworked in like basically everywhere in the world, and so they're using Khanmigo and other free AI models like ChatGPT to help create worksheets and custom quizzes for students that they may not have time to do. And then that allows teachers to focus on bringing the human side of teaching, like maybe being there for the students, emotionally, physically there, being present. And then they can leverage AI tools to help do some of the heavy lifting of teacher work that's kind of not about the human connection and more about the processes, the paperwork, etc.
Man,
Love
that is
that.
incredible. Yep, we're on the web. We got this page saved, y'all. So if you see it on screen,
Okay,
this is
sweet.
it right here. We'll definitely put it in our notes for the YouTube video as well. So, man, loving this talk so far. All right, Joe, what else you got? I know you got something else coming up.
Yeah, so we're gonna stay in the vein of AI. So what excites you most about AI, and what are you most afraid of for AI as well?
Well, first off, Joy, I'm so happy that you asked that question with both sides of the coin. I think that's the right approach. First off, with anything AI, is it's a two-sided coin. So every awesome improvement that I'm excited for can also be equally used for very opposite negative stuff to happen. They're both.
Yeah.
It's always like you're getting both every time.
Yeah.
So I'm most excited for humans to have a companion AI that the companion could take on different hats. So maybe you want a legal companion AI. I've been training a model of GPT-4 to help read contracts for me because I'm not very good at understanding legal language. So I literally can feed legal language to this AI model, and I say, can you rewrite this contract for a 5-year-old to understand?
Love
Mm.
it.
Fantastic job. And then if I'm being distracted, I say, can you add some emojis to it? And then it literally covers it with emojis and actually understands the context properly and then
Wow.
delivers in a way that I can actually understand. So I'm excited for more of that. Like you have a lawyer companion AI, you might have a brainstorming buddy companion AI, you might
Love it.
have a copywriter who helps you kind of with verbiage, maybe a PR person or an HR representative that helps you with paperwork. That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah.
Now,
Wow.
equally very scared of people having companion AIs that are trained and taught to do horrible things on autopilot at a scale that we've never seen before. For
Mm.
example, one of the things that we're going to see a lot of kind of immediately is there's going to be an increase in synthetic relationships. So
Mm.
maybe my legal companion AI is a form of synthetic relationship, right? It's me interacting with, it's me having a relationship with a professional lawyer-like character who can help with paperwork. This can also be used for people's romantic partners, though. There's
Yep.
going to be a company that is doing this at a scale right now that's pretty high. Is a company called Replica AI. They
Mm-hmm.
spell it like REPLIKA .ai, and their company had a weird origin where the founder of that company, she lost a loved one, her loved one, um, very early on. And so she took every text message, every email, every social media post, and converted that into a large language model that can write like the person they loved. And she said it helped her with the coping. However, my fear with this is that for some people, they're not going to use that technology for coping. They might use it as a complete replacement for human interaction.
That's good.
And so that's my fear is, you know, maybe some people thrive with less interaction with humans, but I'm guessing a lot of people don't. I think like we already have an epidemic of loneliness. So I feel like some of this awesome innovation in AI that can help us in education and creativity, it also might increase the amount of loneliness that we all experience because we can all have our isolated companions instead of having humans fulfill those roles.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Joy, go ahead, because I knew you had something to say about it. No, go ahead.
No, it's really, like you said, it's really exciting and scary at the same time, but you just have to know exactly where, to draw the line, and what you have to have your own boundaries set, and your own morals in place for when all this comes at you,
Yeah, I'm just looking at this website and I'm just like, okay, I've even seen the commercials on Instagram. I've seen something like where it's like, well, level 1 of the replica is like, ugh, but then level 100 of the replica is like, and I'm like, it's like you said, it's good and bad. It reminds me of the movie Her. We mentioned it on our last podcast, where you're talking to this AI, it begins to learn, begins to understand you, it begins to understand what you like, what you don't like, and I mean, this thing is just, it's just gonna be coming at you, and it don't get tired. That's the reality that we're living in. And so, like you said, I love Joy taking the time to ask the flip coin part of the AI situation. It's really good.
It's both. It's so important to look at both. I mean, I keep using the metaphor of fire, and I think this is a useful imagery. Like the technology of fire can do so much good. You can actually have light at night to have more stories around the campfire. It provides warmth in the cold seasons. You can use it to sanitize food so that you don't get sick from eating. Okay, that's all great. Fire can do amazing things. But the same technology of fire can also be used to make weapons that kill people. It can burn down villages. It can create pollution in the air that makes it hard for everyone to breathe, animals, plants, people. So it's like, wow, this amazing technology of fire is really just like, you can do so much with it, but you can do so much good or so much bad. It's really about who gets access to fire, who gets to wield fire, and then how are people going to use fire?
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's so good. That's so good.
Absolutely. And so, going into our next question, what are some challenges you've experienced being a futurist?
Yeah. So a lot of the challenges come around. Sometimes people don't like to hear change happening on the horizon. So for some people, when they hear of anything that brings me excitement, like change, they experience fear and anxiety from hearing the word change.
Yeah.
So oftentimes the hardest thing about being a futurist is helping to communicate the importance of change while also being sensitive enough to the people that prefer to not change so fast. It's kind of like that. I've literally been using, I don't know if this is the right way to go about it, but I've recently shared a bunch of my personal views on change and technology with a version of ChatGPT that I've been training to provide counter arguments to see the other side.
Wow.
So it basically, I explain like, here's my view on why I think change is important and why we need to adapt, which is kind of like my own views. And I shared a bunch of examples and my own personal stories and anecdotes. I turned this all into text. Then I said, can you play the role of someone who is an engaged, but also someone who has the exact opposite views of all of these statements, and explain to me why these are so offensive to that person's lifestyle and well-being, and how could I better communicate with a person like this? And then it wrote down a bunch of text around all the opposing views, and I read them, and it hurt to read them because I'm like, you can't, how are you gonna? And I was thinking, like, why am I feeling so, like, why am I'm not right, I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
This is just my own views, this is someone else's potential views. And it's allowed me
Mm-hmm.
to have a bit more empathy for, like, for people who don't want to change. So yeah, I've been using it as a way to kind of see both sides. And then when I go into conversations, it's a little bit easier to adapt with that futurist perspective I like to bring, because I'm familiar with some of the arguments that I'll hear from the non-futurist side.
Wow. That's a
I love
really
how you prepare yourself for that. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a really good perspective to just have and to go into things with the right mindset, and also invest into the other side of that. Like future proofing everything else. So I know there's a lot of times when you talk about. I know you just recently did like a whole camp around Camp Future Proof, right?
Yep. So yeah, I just did a camp, which is kind of like the exact opposite of all this technology that I love so much and AI. We literally hosted a camp physically in the woods. It was in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And yeah, oh wow, yeah, this is the footage from our event. So we literally had our purple shirts. We invited a lot of our online friends that we had never actually seen in person before or even heard their voices in person. A lot of these folks I only knew from their icons on Instagram or their avatars through different
Wow.
platforms. And they came to this physical campsite. We hosted like a 2-day, 3-night, or 3-day, 2-night event. And we had cabins for everybody to stay in. And what we focused on there was building the things that I think are struggling the most, which is human relationships, real-time interaction. We did a lot of reflection exercises. We did a lot of mindful meditations. We did sound baths. We did hikes. We did a lot of team building activities that would encourage people to have, in-person eye contact and in-person voice and in-person, with each other. And just being surrounded by nature, I actually chose a location that had the worst Wi-Fi. And I struggled to make that decision because I'm like, how am I going to stay disconnected from the internet? I need my internet. I need my social media.
Yeah.
And I still was like, no, because this is such a problem, that is exactly why we need to be out in nature and make it physically difficult to be online. And then we
That's
started
so
making
good.
songs together and having campfires and doing sound baths. And we had these extremely meaningful interactions, and people bonded immediately. I mean, people
Love
immediately
that.
got into this mindset of like, wow, I thought I was alone on this topic. And no, you're not alone. Like, we're actually all human. Mind-blowing idea. We actually have a lot in common because we're all human. And so
Yes.
Yeah.
it was so beautiful. We had 20 people there. We had music. We had just hikes and like spiritual kind of walks, and the political, social, and economic views from people who were from all over the place. Yet we still
I
found a
love
lot of
that.
common ground in nature.
Wow. Yeah, I had to plug it. I had to plug it because it's one of those things where when you see what's going on in different spaces, you have to acknowledge that I'm not just a technologist, not just a futurist. I also really care deeply about the people that's making these things happen. If you have a better human, you create better things. So just shout out to you and all the team that made that happen. Even El Michelle in the chat saying this is so fascinating and self help on
Yay.
10,000. Yes, very, very important.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yes.
started. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I got inspired by a book that I would highly encourage people to read if they want to know what can the average person do about all this innovation and AI that's going to leave people behind. It's literally a book called Future Proof: 9 Rules for Humans in the Age of Automation by an author named Kevin Roose. He just gives these 9 principles, and I read this book 2 times. I've integrated these 9 principles into my own life, and then I weaved these into our Camp Future Proof. I weave them into all of our activities. So it's these principles, and they're very easy things to do for humans. They just have to be very deliberate. In the past, it might have been easier for our environment to allow these things to happen automatically. But in an increasingly technology focused world, we actually are going to have to be active participants in making these principles happen versus they're not going to happen by default.
Yeah.
Love it.
Love it, man. Love it, love it, love it.
All right. And so our next question is, what does representation mean to you?
Ooh, it means a lot of things. For one, it just means you feel like you're welcome into any space as
Yeah.
like a member that's allowed to exist there and participate with just the same amount of rights, opportunities, and options available as anybody else. So for me, that's kind of what representation means.
Awesome. That was a
Love
quick
it.
and quick, straight to the point answer. Love that. Like I said, we talk about representation a lot in our space, and we talk about it a lot on the podcast. We're not going to go all into it today because everyone on this call, everyone on this podcast is representation lived out every single day. We're every day we're having the spirit of excellence. We're going after things and making sure that people know that not only are we here, but that we're here to make sure that everyone knows that this is a space for everyone. So we're not going to go into detail, but that's just the idea, reason why we ask that question every single show is to make sure it's been known that the XR space, the AI space is for everyone.
Yes. And what advice would you give someone who's aspiring to be in this space to do XR and AI work?
Yeah, so the main thing is you got to use what tools you have to start experimenting. So there's a website that I would also encourage people to check out. It's called Alternative 2,
Okay.
alternative2.net. And basically, every software that's out there, there's actually free or paid alternatives to that software that might work on your
Mhm.
phone, your tablet, your laptop, whether you're on Mac or Windows. So I would encourage you to go to this website called alternative2.net, and any creative software that you want to start experimenting with. If you're like, oh, I just don't have it on my phone, I don't have it on my laptop, I don't have it, try this website alternative2.net and find there is, I guarantee there's an alternative, especially now. There is an alternative to whatever creative tool is out there. And then
Yeah.
you got to put that stuff out. You have to make something with it. And it's okay to experiment. So uh, you find your alternative software, you use what you have, you do an experiment, and then set an arbitrary goal that's time bound, and then hold yourself to it by making it a public movement, saying, I'm going to do this thing in this amount of time, and this is my journey of that thing.
Yeah.
And then let that kind of guide you in the cadence and the how you show up to learn that new thing. That's how I learned 3D. That's how my friends build their audiences, and that's how they kind of build their empires. They just have to start with what they have, and then they just keep laying down a different brick, another brick, and another brick, and then eventually you'll actually have like a foundation, and then you can
Yeah.
build like anything on top of that.
Man, that is incredible. I love it, man. It's one of those things when we continue to think about get into the metaverse as we get into all the things that we're trying to do with XR, AI. It's always these building blocks that build on another. Some people say, "Well,
Yes.
I only care about VR." Well, VR will be nothing without AI. And then if
Mm-hmm.
AI is like the background, it's the thought process, it's the brains behind all the other platforms going forward. We won't be able to really have those augmented reality glasses we want without the assistance of artificial intelligence to help us kind of condense this technology better and better, make better chips, make better power consumption, etc. So it's always that piece, block upon block, piece upon piece. Love that, love that, love that.
And I wrote down
Absolutely.
some tools in there. Um, I recommend Blender. I don't use it a lot because I came in with Cinema 4D as my foundation. I started laying down the bricks so that I had a foundation in Cinema 4D. But if I was starting over today, I would maybe encourage you to lay down bricks with Blender and
Mhm.
Unreal Engine and Unity, which I saw was mentioned earlier here in the Get 'em in the Metaverse podcast. So
Yeah.
if you start laying down bricks with those tools, I think those skills are going to transfer very nicely and very widely in all the new technologies that are coming.
Oh man, love it, love it, love it.
Love it. And the show is called Get Them to the Metaverse. How do you get people into the metaverse?
For me, it's through the live streams. I like to show people a little slice of the metaverse in a live stream, and it's usually around the asset creation process, making models and
Hmm.
rigs and puppets and textures, and how do you visualize those things in a virtual way through augmented reality or through a virtual reality application. So for me, I get people in the metaverse through education. I try to be like a Bob Ross of the metaverse and make it a really fun and friendly place to learn new things.
Wow, man. I
Yes.
absolutely love that. I absolutely love that because you are like the Bob Ross of the metaverse. You have the same energy, you have the same positivity, and you definitely have a heart for teaching. Like you're going live every single day, and you know that's one of those things where I really want to wait. You heard that? You heard that?
That's thunder?
Was that
Whoa.
thunder?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait. I think it's time for something incredible to happen on the show before we end this out because, we the Duns, right? So everyone knows us as the Duns. So we can't call it the lightning round. We're going to call it the Dunder round.
The Dunder round.
All right. So this is the rules of the
Wow.
Dunder round. This is the rules of the Dunder round. What Joy's going to ask you as many questions as she can ask you within a 90-second window. And we're going to see how many you can get through. Now, this is going to be spitfire. You got to be quick. You ready for this, Don?
I'm ready.
All right. Now, let me get my music right. Now, you ready, Joy?
I am ready.
All right. We're about to start the clock right now. Let's go.
What is your favorite AI tool?
OpenAI ChatGPT.
Favorite book?
Right now it is Snow Crash.
Name of the childhood toy you couldn't live without?
Spider-Man action figure.
Flying or driving?
Flying.
Favorite hobby?
Creating.
Describe yourself in one word.
Curious.
If you could meet any historical figure, who would it be?
Ooh. I gotta think about that one. I don't know. I don't have one.
Okay, beaches or mountains?
Mountains.
Your favorite sport?
I don't really watch sports. I don't know. Creating stuff.
Okay, favorite genre of music?
Lo-fi.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
iPhones or Androids?
iPhones.
Favorite season of the year?
Winter.
Favorite XR device?
Ooh.
Well,
iPhone.
time's almost up. What you got?
Okay, what's the last song you listened to?
Light up Skechers.
Taking risks or playing it safe?
Risks.
All right. Look. We got through it. You were the first to try out the Thunder Round. I love it, man. That was absolutely incredible. We appreciate you so much, man, for taking the time to go through all of that on Get 'Em to the Metaverse. Now, this is your opportunity to plug anything you want to plug before we get out of here.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast. If you want to support the stuff I'm doing, if you follow me on Instagram or Threads, that's where I share the bulk of everything. So follow me on Instagram or Threads.
Love it, man. And we also want to take the time out because we know you're doing some incredible things as well with your podcast. And so we want to make sure we plug Rethink Reality by Don Allen. And make sure you guys check that out on Apple Podcasts. Everywhere you get a podcast, it's an incredible thing. We love to listen to it as well in the Dunn household. So we want to make sure we plug that as well. Don, it has been absolutely incredible to have you on. It's been a stellar show, and we're so excited that we were able to get this on. Now, Joy, what's your last words you want to give to the people today?
Thank you all so much for tuning in to Get 'Em to the Metaverse. Of course, we have to thank Don, who just was incredible and shared so much information. So thank you. But as always, we have another episode coming, so make sure you stay tuned and subscribe and hit that thumbs up button.
You better hit that thumbs up button. Look, Hardy West said,
Hit the thumbs up.
y'all jamming. Listen, this is Get 'Em to the Metaverse, baby. This is what we do. We're going to be back very soon with another episode of the amazing, incredible Get 'Em to the Metaverse with the beautiful JoyReign and your boy, JDun. Don, once again, we so much appreciate you. And everyone that tuned in live, thank you so much for taking the time. We will see you next time on Get 'Em
Bye, y'all.
to the Metaverse. Peace.